Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So as we all do know, Manchester United are not in a Champions League football for next season, so I do believe this summer is going to be a dilemma for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United, because I do believe it's going to be hard for us to attract players to the elite level because we're not in Champions League football for next season. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer still does believe that we can attract players to the highest level, even though we're not in a Champions League football. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has worked out his transfer strategy, and he's blatantly made it clear that he wants to recommend young players to come to Manchester United this summer. He may want to get young players that can grow, develop, and emulate into superstars. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did confirm, confirm that he has had meetings, discussing about our recruitment for this summer, and I don't think he's intending on bringing any short-term players in. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club this summer. He did say he's going to have his final say on our summer transfer plans, what players come in and what players of course leave the club. We are expected to orchestrate a big summer clear out. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer did say, was this prior to the Huddersfield game, that he has been contacted by a number of agents, saying that their players would like to come to Manchester United. But you can see the deficiencies in the squad. You can identify the areas where Manchester United are lacking, and we've got to resolve these problems in the summer. He's going to get a spending spree of around £250 million, and I think with that maybe we could get 5 players or more. But as I did say, if we can cash in for the likes of Paul Pogba, if we could cash in for the likes of Lukaku, maybe even cash in for De Gea, it's going to help us with our transition, and it's going to help us with our rebuilding process. But as I did say, other teams are going to invest this summer, I should presume. City are probably going to invest. I know they've spent a hell of a lot of money under Pep Guardiola, but I still believe they're probably going to invest this summer. I do believe Liverpool are going to probably invest this summer. They had a good window last summer. I do believe Arsenal are going to invest this summer. But as I did say, I think the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool are strides ahead of us at the moment. I do think we're at least a couple of years off City's level and Liverpool's level. And I think we're at least 3 or 4 years off, from mounting any kind of a title challenge up. So we are years off, from being a competitive elite level football club. But we've got to get the right recruitment this summer, because analysing our recruitment policy is very, very poor. But I do believe at least in the next 2 to 3 years, our aspirations is going to be that top 4. So I do believe we're going to be fighting for that top 4. Obviously, we do know that we want to get a director of footballing. That is the most essential thing. Obviously, we want to get this appointed before the start of next season, because we do need a structural change of the club, and that's obviously getting a director of footballing. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to need backing this summer. But I don't know if he's the right man. If he's the right man, that can take us forward. Has he got the stature to command Manchester United in that position? Where we should currently be. Time will tell. But I know there's been a lot of fans, critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, demanding him out of the club. Obviously, reflecting our poor on the results and performances. But I still believe, we've got to give Ole Gunnar Solskjaer time. We know it went well when he was the interim manager in his first 3 months. Maybe some people are saying, we give him the job too early. We should have maybe waited till this point, to make a decision, whether we're going to give him the job full time or not. So maybe we did give him it too early. But if this bad run of form continues going on into next season, then I will be critical of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. As I do keep saying, that I will want him out of Manchester United. So I do believe, we've still currently got to give him time. I know he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree. He hasn't really got the experience of manager. Had it as a player, but he hasn't really got it as a manager, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. But let's be honest, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's. We do know a lot of money's been invested into the club, since Ferguson retired. But, none of this squad is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So in aspects, he's still in the process of rebuilding, of course. So let's see how many players he can get in the summer. But he's emphasising interest in quite a few young players. Now, I'm going to tell you on this video, what players I'd like to come to Manchester United. Now, number 1, would be Lille's Nicolas Pepe, and there has been news going on about him in the last couple of days, saying that Manchester United are weighing up a move for him of around £45 million. I think that is the actual figure that Manchester United are willing to offer Lille for Nicolas Pepe this summer. But Man United have been in talks with Lille over this. Also, Nicolas Pepe has attracted interest, from quite a few other teams. I think Arsenal have been interested. I think Liverpool have been interested in the last couple of months. I think it mentioned that Bayern Munich would interest him. So there has been quite a few teams interested in Nicolas Pepe. But maybe a player of Nicolas Pepe's calibre, wants to be in Champions League football. And obviously, Manchester United have not got a Champions League footballer for next season. But maybe if Man United were willing to, offer him offer him a load of wages, then maybe that would convince, Nicolas Pepe, to come out to Manchester United. So if we were willing to offer him around maybe £250,000 a week, would that convince him, to make the move to Old Trafford? But yeah, so there has been quite a few teams interested, but maybe he would want to be in Champions League football, Nicolas Pepe. But obviously, Arsenal have been interested in Nicolas Pepe, but Arsenal obviously missed out on that top four. But if they do win the Europa League final, obviously, they're in the Champions League for next season, are Arsenal. But I like Nicolas Pepe, he's primarily a winner. He's the obvious candidate for the right win, is Nicolas Pepe, because I said he's primarily a winner. And I do believe he's got the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League. And I think if he was to come to the Premier League, Nicolas Pepe, I do believe it would be the next level for him. He's only 23 years of age. He has got a lot of years ahead of him, and I think he'd blend in our attacking line very, very well, and I think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United. So far, he's spent the entirety of his career in France. Obviously, he has been at Lille a couple of seasons, but he's got loads of goals in him, lots of assists in him. He's got immense talent, of course, and I think he'd be the right player for Manchester United, with Nicolas Pepe. And £45 million is a reasonable figure, for a player of his calibre, 23 years of age, so I've still got a lot of years ahead of him. And I do believe he will produce and deliver the same element of the performances, he has been doing throughout the course of this season with Lille if he was to come to the Premier League. So maybe, or more than likely, he could be playing his trade in the Premier League next season, could Nicolas Pepe. So there has been quite a few teams interested in him. So he's one player I'd love to come to Manchester United, but again, it's going to be a dilemma for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Manchester United this summer, because it's going to be hard for us to get our number one priority targets, because we're not in Champions League football. But financially, we can afford to pay Nicolas Pepe a lot of wages. Should Manchester United do that to try and get Nicolas Pepe on the board, or should we just basically leave it? Because if we're not willing to offer him a staggering amount of wages, I don't think he'd want to come to Manchester United, because obviously we're not in Champions League football, of course. So I don't know, to be quite honest. Let me know in the comments below, but I do really like this player. And Jadon Sancho, he's another player I'd like at Manchester United, but again, it's going to be very difficult for us to get Jadon Sancho, and he's actually been the club's number one priority target for a long time, as Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. Reports came out the other day about Sancho saying that he's set to turn down a £100 million move to Old Trafford. Is Jadon Sancho? He's set to turn down a £100 million move, and I think he's intending on spending at least one more season with Borussia Dortmund, as he did make it clear. I think from Borussia Dortmund's perspective, they're very adamant that Jadon Sancho, will remain at Borussia Dortmund. But I think Man United were willing to pay up to around £100 million over Jadon Sancho, because we have got the financial power to meet his valuation. But maybe a player of his calibre, wants to be in Champions League football. I do really like him. I think it'd create a better platform for him, if he came back to the Premier League. Obviously, he's a former Manchester City player, where he did serve a couple of years, but he never got the chance at Manchester City, and this is why he's now at Borussia Dortmund. He's been at Dortmund a couple of seasons, and Borussia Dortmund have been known for doing business with their players. But I do believe it's more than likely he will continue plying his trade in Germany next season with Borussia Dortmund. He's British, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer showed an interest in quite a few British players. He's only 19 years of age, so he is very young, primarily a winner, but I think you can also play him as attacking midfielder, Jadon Sancho. But he's a player I'd like to come in, but I don't see now Jadon Sancho coming in. So he actually was our number one target, was Jadon Sancho. But I think now we've actually identified Koulibaly from Napoli as our number one target, and we have been hearing positive news, floating around the media in regards to Koulibaly, and it's very exciting, to be quite honest with you. And I don't think if we do get a deal over the line for him, I don't think it will be till the next at least the next month or something like that. It has basically said now, as I said, Man United, we've identified him as our number one target. Manchester United probably would have to pay a world transfer record, to get him on the board. So maybe we'd have to pay around 100, maybe 110 million, maybe 120 million, maybe 130 million pounds to get him on the board. But maybe we're not keen on spending over £100 million of Koulibaly. So maybe we'll try and convince Napoli to sell him for around 80 million pounds. But I'm a big admirer of the player. Manchester United have been long admirers of him, and defensively we've got issues. Obviously we've conceded 54 goals throughout the course of this season in the Premier League, so that just emphasises the problems we have got defensively. And I think Koulibaly would make a fantastic impact in our defensive line. I think he'd look fantastic alongside Vitz Lindelof. I think him and Lindelof would blend in very well together. But Koulibaly, I think he's got all the attributes to come and succeed in the Premier League. He's also highly experienced. He's 27 years of age, nearly 28. As I said, Manchester United had 3 bids to him turned down last year. Actually, we was in the process for a long time of getting him under Jose Mourinho, because we was linked with Koulibaly under the Jose Mourinho era. And obviously our priority last summer was to recommend a centre-back to come in, but obviously last summer when Jose Mourinho was here, Obviously, the board weren't backing, the signings that Jose Mourinho, wanted to recommend to come in. Koulibaly is nearly 28, as I said. He has got a contract with Napoli until 2023. I think it did initially say that he's got a release clause of around £110 million in his deal as the Senegal international. But yeah, Man United have been linked to him, for a very, very long time. And the most expensive defender at the moment is obviously, Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk, who Liverpool, of course, paid £75 million for. And yeah, I think Ancelotti, regarded Koulibaly as one of the best centre-backs in the world. I wouldn't say he's the top. I'd say he's definitely, one of the best in the world. I think probably Van Dijk's been better than him this season, because I think that was a great signing for Liverpool. Liverpool paid £75 million for him, was it 16 months ago? Liverpool got him in January of 2018, and he's addressed Liverpool's defensive deficiencies fantastically well as Virgil van Dijk. Imagine Virgil van Dijk and Koulibaly, in Liverpool's squad. That would be very, very good, from a Liverpool perspective. But I don't think Liverpool are keen on spending another load of money on a central defender. They don't need a central defender. Liverpool, they've got Van Dijk, they've got Joe Gomez, and I think it's my club, Manchester United, that do need a central defender. And I'd love us to get Koulibaly on the board. But reports have been very, very positive about it. But Napoli financially would make a huge profit on the player, because they only paid around £7 to £8 million for him from Gent back in 2014. He has made over 200, I think he's made about 211 appearances in all competitions for Napoli. So he has been in Italy a number of years. So it would be a good start to the summer, if we were to get Koulibaly on the board. So yeah, he's another player I'd love to come to Manchester United. So at the moment, I'd love Nicolas Pepe to come in. I'd like Jadon Sancho to come in, but I don't think he will. I'd like Koulibaly, to come in to the club. And midfielders, I've already said to you who I would like to come in, because I do believe that we do need 3 new additions in that midfield. We need a replacement for Herrera, we need a replacement for Paul Pogba, of course, and I'd love Bruno Fernandes, to come in. And it has said Manchester United and Manchester City are linked with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, it did say Sporting Lisbon want around £68 million for Bruno Fernandes, and obviously Man United probably would be willing to pay £60 million for Bruno Fernandes, but it has said City have been interested in him. Obviously, comparing Man U and Man City, player Bruno Fernandes' quality and calibre, probably Manchester City, would be the most attractive option, for Bruno Fernandes. But actually, recent reports did say that City had opted out of the race of the other week, was it? Because it did say City were in talks with Sporting Lisbon over a deal worth around £47 million, and it did say City were willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. But I still think it says now Manchester City are linked to him, but Manchester United are definitely, still in there for him. He's 24 years of age. He has still got a lot of years ahead of him. His initial release clause is around 85, or is it 86 million pounds. But he's been tearing it up fantastically well in Portugal. He's been in Portugal a couple of seasons now with Sporting Lisbon. He's been fantastic throughout the course of this season. I think 30 odd goals and provided about 16 or 17 assists in about 50 odd games, and that is very, very impressive. So he can score goals in that midfield, and we need depth in our midfield. We need creativeness in that midfield, and we need someone that can score goals in that midfield. And I do believe that Bruno Fernandes, would be the right candidate. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. Obviously, when he was younger, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, with Udinese and San Pandora, did Bruno Fernandes. So I think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United. I think he'd be fantastic. He's predominantly an attacking midfielder, so I do believe he would be a good replacement for Paul Pogba. So I'd also like Bruno Fernandes, to come to my club. And talking about Youri Tielemans, he's another player I'd like to come in, and I think Youri Tielemans and Bruno Fernandes in our midfield, would be absolutely fantastic. They're both very, very young, both very, very good players. They're both players can score from the midfield. I think Youri Tielemans is a central midfielder, but obviously now he's in the Premier League, with Leicester. He's obviously been on loan at Leicester, since January. Leicester got him on loan from Monaco. I think from Youri Tielemans' perspective, he's basically said Youri Tielemans' perspective, he's basically said he's expected to return to Monaco when his loan spell ends with Leicester. But I think he's available for a reasonable figure. I think Monaco rate Youri Tielemans at around £40 million. He has got a contract with them until 2022, but there has been quite a few teams interested in him. Again, I think it said Arsenal have been monitoring and interested in him. It says Tottenham have been monitoring an interest in Youri Tielemans, but he's also on Manchester United's agenda, and I think he'd blend in very, very well in our midfield. Youri Tielemans, he can score score goals, he can provide, he's tenacious, and I really, really do like him. Obviously, when he was younger, he played for Anderlecht. I think, well, he isn't their youth system. I think he spent about 4 seasons in the senior squad, made about 185 appearances, scored 35 goals across 4 seasons for Anderlecht. I think he won a couple of titles with Anderlecht as well, did Yori Tillemans. But yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. So he's another midfielder I'd love to come to Manchester United. Talking about Declan Rice, he's another midfielder I'd like to come in, because I do believe the 2 main areas Manchester United need to strengthen up. We need to get a central defender in, and I do believe we need a holding midfielder, because obviously Fellaini left in January. Fellaini left in January. Nemanja Matic for me isn't good enough, not reliable enough. Well, let's be honest, the majority of this Manchester United squad at the moment isn't reliable enough. But talking about Matic, okay, in some of his games, Matic has demonstrated, that he can play well. But for me, he's aging up. He's too ineffective in that midfield. I've got strong reservations about him, and I want him to lead the club this summer. But obviously, he's not going to be. He's not added onto that list. He's not one of the favourable players that's going to depart Manchester United this summer. And Man United paid £40 million for him, and I know he's well Premier League proven, but yeah, he definitely will be at Manchester United next season. But Nemanja Matic for me is too slow, and he's just not trustworthy enough, to be quite honest. So I think we need a centre defensive midfield that's fast and tenacious. I think Declan Rice, would be the right solution. He's well Premier League proven. Declan Rice, he's only 20 years of age. He's obviously learned his trade in the Premier League. I've analysed his performances for West Ham, and they've been absolutely fantastic. And I think it's one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. Of course, he's British, he's Declan Rice, and I think he'd be the right solution in our midfield. So yeah, another player I'd love to come in. So there's a lot of players I'd like to come to Manchester United. I think we could get the Declan Rice. West Ham would probably demand that they want around £50 million. If they are willing to do any business for him. But yeah, he breaks up the play very, very well. Energetic midfielder, and I'm a huge admirer of the player. So I'd love him to come to Manchester United, Declan Rice. And, Joe Felix, he's another player I'd like to come to Manchester United. Man United have been scouting him at least in the last couple of months now, based on his fantastic performances. Man United have been linked to him. I think Manchester City have also expressed their interest in Joe Felix, primarily an attacking midfielder, can play as a winner, can play as a striker, can play as a second striker, and I really, really like, I really, really like Joe Felix. He's only 19 years of age as well, very, very young. I think this has only been his first season in the senior squad with Benfica, but can score goals, can provide, and I think he'd fit the Manchester United agenda very, very well. So he's another player I'd actually like to come in at Manchester United. I think his buyout clause is supposed to be around £100 million. Is Joe Felix's. I think his buyout clause is around £100 million, as I said. So yeah, I'd like Joel Felix, to get recommended to come in. I think other teams have been interested. I think Liverpool had a bid turned down for him in January, but he has said that Manchester City have also expressed their interest in Joel Felix. So I do really, really like him. There has been talks of Everton's Idrissa Gueye. He's also been mentioned. He got mentioned last month. He's obviously, recently been mentioned now. Idrissa Gueye, do you think he'd be a good replacement for Ander Herrera, if he was to come in? Idrissa Gueye is 29 years of age, and Solskjaer said he's not intending on being in the short-term players in, but he's still 29. He has still got quite a lot of years ahead of him as Idrissa Gueye. He's well Premier League proven as Idrissa Gueye. He's been at Everton a number of years now. It did say Everton reportedly, it said the other day in the media, they want around £40 million for Idrissa Gueye. It did say Man United were eyeing a transfer bid of around £40 million for Idrissa Gueye. Idrissa Gueye's got 3 years left on his contract with Everton. I think it's also said that Paris Saint-Germain have expressed their interest in him. Obviously PSG were linked to him back in January, but I think back in January Everton wanted around £40 million. But Idrissa Gueye, I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder, but holds his line very, very well. Breaks up the play very, very well. Good energetic midfielder. Intercepts very, very well. Good at pressing opponents. His passing ability is very, very good. And obviously he's made about 134 appearances in the Premier League, but obviously the majority of his appearances have obviously come at Everton. He's been at Everton over 3 seasons. Obviously when he was younger, he spent 1 season with Aston Villa. Did Idrissa Gueye, but I think Idrissa Gueye actually wants to leave Everton, and I think Everton are willing to accept the fact that he wants to leave. So I think Everton want £40 million. So Everton basically are demanding over 5 times more than what they initially paid for him from Aston Villa, because Everton only paid just over £7 million for him from Aston Villa. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on in the media. I'm not sure if I'd recommend Idrissa Gueye to come in, but yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him. He's 29. He's a Senegal international. So yeah, would you like him to come to Manchester United? I don't know about him, to be quite honest, so I won't comment on that. But I'd like the likes of Bruno Fernandes to come in. I'd love, Joe Felix to come in. I'd like Declan Rice to come in. I'd like Yori Tillemans to come in. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And, you know, in the other central defenders I'd like to see coming as well. Some people are saying that Manchester United, you know, do need at least need 2 central defenders, not only 1 central defender, you know, we need 2 central defenders. So my top one would be Koulibaly to come in that back line. But Harry Maguire, I'd also like Harry Maguire to come in. You know, I think he'd be fantastic for Manchester United. It would be fantastic if we could get Harry Maguire and Koulibaly. You know, that would be even better than just getting Koulibaly. But Harry Maguire, I really, really like him. He's previously been valued at around 70 or 80 million pounds. I don't think the club are intending on breaking the world transfer record for Harry Maguire, even though he was previously valued at around 70 or 80 million pounds. He's a very, very good player, Harry Maguire. You know, he holds his line very, very well. His defensive abilities are very, very good. You know, he's well Premier League proven. You know, he's been at Leicester a couple of seasons now. I think he's made about 100 odd appearances in the Premier League, Harry Maguire. And he's very, very tall as well, you know, which is very, very beneficial. But yeah, Man United were linked with him last summer, but obviously, you know, we couldn't come to an agreement to get him last summer. We've got the financial power to meet his valuation. We've got the financial power, you know, to meet his valuation. We've also got the financial power, you know, to currently double Harry Maguire's wages. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going on. You know, Toby Alderweireld, I wouldn't be too sure about Toby Alderweireld, and I don't think he'd be one of my players, but looking at it financially, you know, he's a much cheaper alternative than the likes of the Harry Maguires or, you know, the Koulibalys and that, or the Rafael Varans, but obviously nowhere near on the same level because Alderweireld's aging up now. You know, he's lost that yard of pace. He's age 30 now, as I said, so he's aging up. He's lost that yard of pace, but still, he's well Premier League proven. He's been at Tottenham a number of years, and I still believe, you know, he'd be a good upgrade in our defence with Alderweireld. You know, his release clause is around £25 million. You know, Manchester United, you know, were heavily linked with Alderweireld last summer, but yeah, so he could still possibly come in. So there's a lot of central defenders on Manchester United's agenda. I still believe we definitely need a right back. You know, we need a replacement for Valencia. We need an upgrade to Ashley Young. We need a cover up for Diego Dalot. So we definitely need a right back. And there has been talks of Crystal Palace's Wan-Bissaka. Wan-Bissaka, I don't think he'll be coming in this summer because it did say a while back that he's fully committed to Crystal Palace and he's intending on spending at least another season with Palace. And he's only 21 again. He is British. He's Wan-Bissaka. I think he's only been in the Crystal Palace senior squad about 15, 16 months now. Is it, you know, Wan-Bissaka? So yeah, there was a lot of talks about him. Initially valued at around 35, 40 million pounds. But yeah, I don't see Wan-Bissaka, you know, coming in. But I do believe we need a right back because Valencia's leaving. You know, Ashley Young, as I said, not good enough for the club. I want Ashley Young to leave this summer, but. I want Ashley Young to leave this summer, but I don't think Ashley Young is going to leave this summer. It was bad business from Manchester United, you know, giving Ashley Young that new 1-year extension. I don't know why we did that, so that was bad judgment from Manchester United. Young's been a good servant to the club, don't get me wrong, he's been here 8 years. Obviously, you know, reflecting back when he was younger, you know, he was a really, really good winner, was Ashley Young, but it was really, really bad, you know, giving him that new 1-year extension. I think the club will probably wait till his 1-year extension expires. Then by the time that expires anyway, I think he'll be nearly 35. He'll be coming to a halt of his playing career with Ashley Young. And people have been questioning about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, his team selections and all that. His tactics are questionable because obviously, you know, why is he been playing Young? Why hasn't he dropped Young? Why has he been playing Rashford? Why hasn't he dropped Rashford? Why has he been playing Lingard and all that? And you know, people are going to question that. And and why is he playing Phil Jones? That's another one. And but we need to get Ashley Young out of this club in the summer. But I don't think he's currently going to go, and that's very, very annoying. You know, that's very, very frustrating, you know, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I do believe we need a right back. But as I did say, I think Phil Jones needs to go in this summer, but I don't think he will. So I still believe Phil Jones will be a Manchester United player in the new season. Phil Jones has been a long-serving player. You know, Phil Jones has been in now, 8 years at Manchester United. We shouldn't have given him a new long-term contract. Again, another mistake for Manchester United. We shouldn't have even given Chris Smalling a new long-term contract, even though comparing Smalling and Phil Jones, I think Smalling's much, much better than Jones. But the annoying thing is, we shouldn't have given either of them, you know, we shouldn't have given either of them long-term contracts, but we've given both of them long-term contracts, and that's a mistake for Manchester United, you know, because we shouldn't have basically, you know, done that. So maybe some people are saying, you know, we do need 2 central defenders. So if we were to get 2 central defenders in, I'd like it to be Koulibaly and Harry Maguire. You know, that would be fantastic, indeed. But Lindelof, you know, we need someone that can go alongside Lindelof. Lindelof's been very impressive throughout the course of this season. You know, he's dramatically improved because in his first season, you know, he was very inconsistent. You know, didn't really settle in. But I think, you know, throughout the course of this season, you know, Lindelof's held his line very, very well. His distributions looks very, very good. His passing looks very, very good. And he's, you know, showed that ability that he can play out from the back. So I have been impressed with Lindelof. Marcus Rojo doesn't have a future at the club. I think he's going to go in the summer anywhere. I want him to, and I think he's going to go anywhere, and we can cash in, for Marcus Rojo. Eric Bailly, for me, needs to go. Too injury prone. Obviously burst into the scenes very, very well when he first came into the Premier League back in 2016. One of Jose Mourinho's first signings when he was here. But Eric Bailly now's career, Manchester United career, has been really badly affected, with the injuries he's sustained. Obviously, his fallout with managers, Eric Bailly. I still highly rate him. He's got a great potential, but he's initially lost his pace in the team and hasn't really had the chance. But he's been here since 2016. I think we're looking to recruit the initial £30 million. We did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. Bailly, I think, in the Premier League for Manchester United has made about 50 appearances. Obviously, only scored that one goal that he got against Swansea, was it a couple of seasons ago? So yeah, I think we do need to get Eric Bailly out. So maybe we do need two central defenders. So maybe you are right in that aspect. Get rid of Darmian as well. Get rid of Matteo Darmian. We can cash in for Darmian as well. I know Darmian's a fullback, but Darmian's endured a very, very difficult time at Manchester United, and he hasn't really had the opportunity as Matteo Darmian. And I think we need to get rid of him. I think Man United initially paid, was it just over £12 million from Torino 4 years ago? He had a lot of experience of playing in Italy when he was young, but Man United can cash in for Darmian this summer, and I think he probably would intend on making a return back to Italy. But he's just recently recovered from a long-term absence as Darmian, but, Darmian's enjoyed a difficult time at Manchester United. So, I think we need to cash in for Darmian Rojo. We can get around £30 million for them too, so, we definitely need to get rid of them. But talking about, Paul Pogba, I think he's still going to be going in the summer, after, even though recent reports have been saying about Paul Pogba, obviously he's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid, and that's a likely destination where he will be going this summer. It has said that negotiations have stalled between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid, based on the wage demands, the €13 million a year wage demands that Paul Pogba is demanding, because obviously, them wage demands don't fit into Real Madrid's wage structure. The wage structure of Real Madrid, and Real Madrid are currently not willing to meet that. So this is what this is the stumbling block in the negotiations between Paul Pogba and Real Madrid. Manchester United have made it clear that we want around 150 or 160 million pounds for Paul Pogba, but reports came out the other week saying that Real Madrid were not willing to match his £290,000 a week wages. So it did say Paul Pogba would have to take some kind of pay cut if he wanted to make the move to Real Madrid. But Paul Pogba, we have seen the glimpse of his best form, under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, when obviously Ander Herrera was playing and all that, and obviously we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months. That's when we saw the best of Paul Pogba, but at least in his last 7 or 8 games, Paul Pogba's performances have been really way below par. He's been so inconsistent, and that just emphasises, that he doesn't want to be at Manchester United, Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract with the club, so he's under contract here till 2022. I think Man United have been in negotiations of getting him a new contract, of course. I think reports came out a while back saying that Man United were willing to offer Paul Pogba the captain's armband on a permanent basis, to convince him to stay at the club. And and I think at least in the last 3 or 4 weeks, Paul Pogba's agent Mariola has been in the process of finding him a new club. And obviously, Paul Pogba was heavily into a move away from Old Trafford last year, based on his poor relationship with Jose Mourinho. Obviously, Barcelona were linked to him, his former club Juventus were linked to him. But there is now reports actually coming out, as I did say earlier on, that Barcelona are preparing to put a bid in of around £130 million of Paul Pogba, and it did say, Barcelona could sanction Ivan Rakitic off, to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But going back last year, Barcelona were interested in Paul Pogba. But maybe Paul Pogba, wants to play to the highest level. Maybe one of the main reasons why he wants to leave Manchester United, because maybe Paul Pogba, as I said, wants to play to the highest level. We're not in Champions League football for next season. Maybe wants to go to a team that's going to be in the Champions League for next season. And and obviously, Manchester United are not. So that's maybe one of the main reasons why, Paul Pogba, does currently want to leave. But I still believe he's on his way out the club. Zinedine Zidane's a big admirer the player. He's been on Zinedine Zidane's agenda now for quite a long time. Paul Pogba was talking a lot about Real Madrid, quite a while back now, about his dream to play for them. And obviously recent reports have said that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's and Paul Pogba's relationship is slowly fading. So if we can get around at least £130 million, and we don't want £130 million, we want more than £130 million, but if we get around 130 or maybe 140, 150 or 160 million, we could get 2 players there with that money, of course, and yeah, so it's still looking like, you know, Paul Pogba's going, and like I said, you know, Bruno Fernandes would be a good replacement for him. You know, we can get Bruno Fernandes and Youri Tielemans. You know, say Bruno Fernandes is going to cost you £60 million. Youri Tielemans £40 million. That's £100 million spent there on two good players. So yeah, that's what we should basically, you know, think about, and maybe we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer. But as I did update you earlier on, you know, talking about Alexis Sanchez. Now, reports have been coming out, as I updated you on my previous video that I did currently earlier on, saying that Juventus and Inter Milan have expressed their interest in Alexis Sanchez. It does say that Juventus and Inter Milan have been in negotiations with Alexis Sanchez's agent over the potential move for Alexis Sanchez. Obviously, Manchester United cannot sanction him off permanently. You know, we can't sanction him off permanently. You know, reflecting on his staggering amount of wages, so we can't sanction him off permanently, because there won't be any teams out there, you know, that can afford to pay his current wages off. So I think Manchester United are intending on sending him out on a long season loan in Italy with either Juventus or Inter Milan, and I think Manchester United, of course, are willing to pay half of his wages off, and I think he did say Manchester United, you know, would have to pay around £12 million, you know, to get rid of Sanchez. So I think we're willing to, you know, send him out on a long season loan, you know, in Italy with either Juventus or Inter Milan, and we are willing to pay half his wages off. But I think his wages are really having a bad effect on the club. He's on, what, 400 grand a week, is it? Something like that. You know, the highest paid player at the club, the highest paid player in the Premier League is Sanchez, and he's just been so inconsistent, you know, anywhere at Manchester United. You know, he's been here 16 months. Obviously, he's become injury prone since he's come to United, because he's sustained about 4 injuries now as Sanchez. Obviously, when we got him about 16 months ago, I thought he'd been a fundamental player for Sanchez, you know, because he's basically, you know, he's had a really good, you know, playing career, Sanchez, up until he came to Manchester United, because he did very well with Arsenal. He did very well, you know, when he was playing under Pep Guardiola at Barcelona, did Sanchez. So he just hasn't exceeded expectations at Manchester United as Alexis Sanchez, and I think he may be keen on a return to Italy, because I think he had experience of playing in Italy when he was young. I think he played with Udinese, if I'm right, when he was a lot younger, Alexis Sanchez. But like I said, you know, his wages are totally having a bad effect on the club. So as it does mention, I think we can't sanction him off permanently. We can't do that, because no team can afford to pay his current wages. So I think we're willing to offload him on a long season loan in Italy with it's going to be either Juventus or Inter Milan, I should presume, and Man United are willing to pay half his current wages. So he's expected to earn around £250,000 a week if he goes to Italy. And yeah, so we do need to get rid of him, because he's definitely, you know, one of the problematic players is Alexis Sanchez. So yeah, we've definitely got to get rid of him. And Lukaku, you know, he's been linked with a move, as you all know. You know, Lukaku has actually, you know, been linked with a move to Italy. We know the likes of Juventus and Inter Milan have been interested in Romelu Lukaku. And I think, I don't think Lukaku and Sanchez will both leave this summer. Well, maybe they will, but I don't think they will. But there has been talks that Lukaku could leave this summer. Manchester United paid big money for him, you know, paid £75 million for him, you know, plus £15 million in add-ons. Richard risen the deal to £90 million. Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract. He's on about £250,000 a week. He's Romelu Lukaku. But for me, he's enjoyed a very difficult second season with Manchester United. You know, he's failed to replicate what he did in his first season. In his first season, I think he scored 27 goals in all competitions. I know he's 25. I know Lukaku, you know, still got a lot of years ahead of him. But, you know, I just don't think he's got the capabilities, you know, to play it to the highest level as Romelu Lukaku. He doesn't have that endless potential. His finishing concerns me. His first touch concerns me. So I have got strong reservations about him. So he could be going to Juventus in Inter Milan. That's where he could be playing his trade next season, you know, Lukaku. And yeah, so he did say before, he admitted his dream of playing in the Serie A, did Lukaku. But with Sanchez, in regards to Sanchez, I do believe now, I think we are intending on getting rid of him on a one season loan. So I think it will be likely he'll be playing his trade next season with either Inter Milan or Juventus will Alexis Sanchez, which is very good news, because I don't want him at my club. And yeah, as we all do know as well, you saw Luke Shaw, you know, he won the Player of the Year award. Luke Shaw, I don't think he's done much wrong at Manchester United, to be quite honest with you. Reflecting back a couple of years ago, was it? He had the fallout with Jose Mourinho, did Luke Shaw, but I think throughout the course of this season hasn't done really much wrong. Obviously, our first choice left back is Luke Shaw. Obviously, had a couple of suspensions throughout the course of the season, as you all know. Towards the back end of the season, he had quite a few suspensions, so he couldn't participate. Luke Shaw, but still got a lot of years ahead of him as Luke Shaw. So yeah, he's one player I'd definitely keep Manchester United, because I think he's very, very good on that left hand side. And Anthony Martial, now talking about Anthony Martial, and as reports did come out yesterday, it was actually positive news, from my perspective as a Manchester United fan, and the vast majority of Manchester United fans, it was positive news, saying that actually, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to sell Anthony Martial off, and that's what he initially said, and this actually got reported from the Mirror, as I did say yesterday. But I think it did say Solskjaer wants to sell Martial, but this has been overruled by the Glazers, and I think it was Joel Glazer that stepped in, and actually, Joel Glazer is a big admirer of Anthony Martial. I think it's his actual favourite player, and it did say that Joel Glazer had a disagreement with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but now obviously Joel Glazer has stepped in. Martial's future has been decided. Joel Glazer, I think, classified him as the club's Pele. This is what Joel Glazer views Anthony Martial as. But yeah, for me, Anthony Martial definitely for me is still the long-term solution for Manchester United. I know his performances in the last couple of months have been really, really poor, but it's good now that his future has been decided, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer reportedly wanted to sell him. Solskjaer was obviously reflecting on his, in his bad attitude in training, his behaviour and all that, but I still believe he's a long-term solution for Manchester United, because we do know what he can be capable of on that left-hand side. Martial, in his 4-year period so far with Manchester United, we have seen glimpses of his best form. We saw it earlier on throughout the course of this season, but in the last couple of months he's failed to replicate that. We saw it when in his first season at the club. We saw a glimpse of Martial's best form. We got him as a 19-year-old. We got him from Monaco. We got him in a deal worth around £36 million from Monaco, rising up to 57 or 58 million based on goals and achievements. Obviously, Martial signed the new 5-year contract, back in January. Obviously, he was heavily linked to a move away from Old Trafford last year. Obviously, because Jose Mourinho at the time, wanted to sanction him off. But Ed Woodward, of course, had blocked his from materialising. So yeah, it's good news that Martial is going to be staying at Manchester United, because I still believe is a long-term solution. Another player Man United have been linked to, as you all know, Daniel James from Swansea. I think quite a lot of Manchester United fans, would like to also, see Daniel James come in. Obviously, hasn't played to the highest level yet, but he's only very, very young. He's only 21 years of age. Is Daniel James. Obviously, so far spent the entirety of his career in the Championship. I think he's done well throughout the course of this season with Swansea. He's played about 30 odd times. He's still got a year left on his contract with Swansea. But there were positive news coming out in regards to Daniel James. Was it about 4 days ago? Saying that there has been a lot of news going on about it, but he did say, was it about 4 days ago? Manchester United were close to agreeing a £15 million deal for Daniel James from Swansea. And Daniel James is primarily winning. He seems to be most effective from that left-hand side as Daniel James. But yeah, 21 years of age, he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think Swansea paid around £72,000 for him from Hull City. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him going, and he's attracted interest, from quite a few teams. So he is a low expectation, he is a cheap acquisition, is Daniel James. So he is a shock name that's actually, being talked about, Daniel James. So yeah, there has been a lot of talks about him, going on in the media. So do you believe he'd be the right solution for Manchester United? And £15 million is a reasonable figure, because as I did say to you, as I do keep saying, it's not all about getting the Galactico players. It's not all about getting the well-established players. It's not all about spending big on players. He doesn't always, as I do keep saying, it doesn't always get you in that commanding position where you want to be. It doesn't always guarantee you success. And yeah, so maybe Daniel James, do you think he'd be the right solution for Manchester United? £15 million very, very cheap. So he's also been on Manchester United's agenda. And that's really everything to update today. But like I said at the beginning of the video, I think it's going to be this summer's going to be a dilemma, for Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because obviously it's going to be difficult, to make a choice. We'd obviously, want to get them elite level players in, but I think it's going to be difficult for us to do that, because we're not in Champions League football. And like I said about Nicolas Pepe, if Man United are willing to offer him a staggering amount of wages, then maybe that could convince Nicolas Pepe, to come and say we'd offer him around
say we'd offer Nicholas Pepe around £200,000 a week, maybe even more. That would maybe convince him to come to the club, even though we're not in Champions League football for next season. But he's on Arsenal's agenda, is Nicholas Pepe. But I think, Man United are weighing up a £45 million move for him, and that's a reasonable figure, for a player of his calibre. And I think he'd be fantastic for us. And I think he's got the the capabilities. And I think he's got the attributes, to succeed in the Premier League, without a shadow of a doubt. And it would be good for him, to come and experience the Premier League. Man United have been in talks with him, so Man United do want to get him on the board. And I'd love him to come to Manchester United, Nicholas Pepe. And a lot of people, a lot of supporters of teams, a lot of neutrals maybe might have even talked to him about him. I heard a couple of Arsenal fans, talking to him about Nicholas Pepe, because obviously, they've been in for him. And a lot of Arsenal fans, would like to see him going to Arsenal, of course. But I'd like him to come to my club, Manchester United, because he would dramatically improve us. He's getting them goals we need, he gets them assists we need, and he's done that, throughout the course of this season with Lille. So I do really like him, guys. Let me just get some of my drink. But yeah, guys, and there's nothing much really more to say, to be quite honest. So anyway, guys, that's everything today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.